Okay, before we start, to who not washed the hands yet, please wash your hand and I will explain to you what is functional testing and non-functional testing and the derivative test from both of them. We go to functional testing first. What is functional testing? Functional testing is a type of software testing that validates the software system against the functional requirements or specifications. The purpose of functional tests is to test each function of the software application by providing appropriate input, then verify the output against the functional requirements. Functional testing mainly involves black box testing and it is not concerned about the source code of the application. This testing checks the user interface, APIs, database, security, client-server communication, and other functionality of the application under the test. What do we test in functional testing? The prime objective of functional testing is checking the functionalities of the software system. It mainly concentrates on mainline function. It tests the main function of an application. Then, basic usability. It involves basic usability testing for the system. It checks whether a user can freely navigate through the screen without any difficulties. Then, accessibility. It checks the accessibility of the system for the user. Then, error conditions. The usage of these testing techniques to check for the error condition. It checks whether suitable error messages are displayed. Then, how to perform functional testing? So, in order to functionally test an application, the following steps must be observed. First is identify the test input. Then second, compute the expected outcomes with the selected test input value. Then third, execute test cases. And the last, comparison of actual and computed expected result. So there are 6 functional testing types. That is unit testing, sanity testing, smoke testing, regression test, integration test, beta or usability testing. Unit testing is usually performed by a developer who writes different codes, units, that could be related or unrelated to achieve a particular functionality. This usually entails writing unit tests which would call the methods in each unit and validate those when the required parameters are passed and its return value is as expected. Then sanity testing. This testing is to ensure that all the major and vital functionalities of the application or system are working correctly. This is generally done after a smoke test. Then smoke testing. This testing that is done after each build is released to test to ensure build stability. It is also called as build verification testing. Then regression tests. This testing performed to ensure that adding new code enhancement, fixing of bugs, is not breaking the existing functionality or causing any instability and still works according to the specification. Regression tests need not be as extensive as the actual functional test, but should ensure just the amount of coverage to certify that the functionality is stable. Then, integration test. When the system is relies on multiple functional modules that might individually work perfectly but have to work coherently when clubbed together to achieve an end-to-end scenario. Beta or usability testing. The product is exposed to the actual customer in a production like an environment and they test the product. The user's comfort is derived from this and the feedback is taken. This is similar to that of user acceptance testing. Okay, we go to non-functional testing. So, what is non-functional testing? Non-functional testing is defined as a type of software testing to check non-functional aspects of a software application such as performance, usability, reliability, etc. It is designed to test the readiness of a system as per non-functional parameters which are never addressed by functional testing. An excellent example of non-functional tests would be to check how many people can simultaneously log in into a software. Non-functional testing is equally important as functional testing and affect client satisfaction. The objective of non-functional testing itself is non-functional testing should increase usability, efficiency, maintainability, and portability of the product. It helps to reduce production risk and costs associated with non-functional aspects of the product. It optimizes the way product is installed, set up, executes, managed, and monitored. And it collects and produces measurements and metrics for internal research and development. And it improves and enhances knowledge of the product behavior and technologies in use. The characteristics of non-functional testing is non-functional testing should be measurable, so there is no place for subjective characterization like good, better, best, etc. The exact number are unlikely to be known at the start of the requirement process. It is important to prioritize the requirements, and it ensures that quality attributes are identified correctly in software engineering. In non-functional testing, there are 12 kind of parameters. There is security, availability, efficiency, integrity, reliability, survivability, usability, flexibility, scalability, reusability, interoperability, and portability. So there are 9 non-functional testing types. There is performance testing. In simple words, performance testing is test the performance of the software. Performance testing is required to make sure that the response time of the system is as per the desired requirement. Then, load testing. Load testing is done by checking the system's ability to manage a load of multiple users using the system at the same time. Then, stress testing. Stress testing is carried out to test the robustness of system under the software test. Then, volume testing. It helps in checking the system performance when the database size is increased. Then security testing. It is the one of the most crucial testing types of non-functional testing. In this type of testing, the system's readiness to fight back against any external or internal attacks is tested. Then usability testing. It will check how easily a user can use the system. It is required to see how quickly or effortlessly the user is able to learn and run through the system. Then, compatibility testing. The system should be able to run efficiently, meeting all its functionalities without any issues on the desired platform or device. This compatibility check with any device, operating system, or browser is done by compatibility testing. Then, scalability testing. It is required to check the scalability of the system, which means it in events of change in data volume, the number of users, etc., the system should work as required and it should be able to handle the increased parameters. And the last is recovery testing. It will check the system performance in case of any failure of crash, and its ability to recover in the desired time without loss of any data. And this is the main difference between functional testing and non-functional testing. Functional testing is performed using the functional specification provided by the client and verifies the system against the functional requirements, while in non-functional testing, it will check the performance, reliability, scalability, and other non-functional aspects of the software system. Then, functional testing is executed first, while in non-functional testing should be performed after functional testing. Then manual testing or automation tools can be used for functional testing, while in non-functional testing, it using tools will be effective for this testing. Then business requirements are the inputs to functional testing, while in non-functional testing, performance parameters like speed, scalability are inputs to non-functional testing. Functional testing describes what the product does, while in non-functional testing describes how good the product works. So the last differences is in functional testing are easy to do manual testing, while in non-functional testing it's very tough to do in manual testing. Okay, that's all of my explanation about functional testing versus non-functional testing. Thank you for watching and see you next time.